Well, that looked ruddy freezing, didn't it, ladies and gentlemen? What's poppin'? Chelsea 3, or shall I say Astana 1, Chelsea 3 away in the Conference League. A heavily rotated side. A multitude of debuts. One of the coldest looking atmospheres I've ever seen, to the point where my fellas nearly went inside my body. Anyway, all went really well. Chelsea are well prepared to go for the West London derby on the weekend, and we top the Conference League table still. Everything's going nice. Mark Gu brace, own goal. Lots of debuts, lots of fun, lots to get into. The kids are all right, despite having to play football in, what was it? It was just freezing temperatures. It looked absolutely horrendous. It was a 3:30 kickoff here in the United Kingdom. Yeah, and to be honest, bro, like, this was a C- team. I nearly called it. I forgot about Neto being unavailable for the weekend, so he played in this game. And other than that, it was a lot of children, a lot of the youngsters. Chelsea do have a crop of very, very talented young players at the moment. A few of them I want to get into. Yeah, and we were coming up against a side, Astana, who just absolutely are no way near our level. They finished their domestic season a month ago. They won a trophy, but and then maybe they're more acclimatized to this horrendous temperatures, but it's job done, really. Even though we conceded a goal, the goal they scored was really good. It was posting in, not the greatest defending, but the finish was great. So Jorgensen couldn't have done much. And we are going to get into all of it today. As always, I'll thank you for joining me here on the channel of Football Therapy. Daily videos, of course, covering Chelsea Football Club. So you're welcome to join the fun by subscribing. Hit the bell if you do choose to subscribe. I'll thank you for dropping a like on the video because it's helpful. It really is. Let's get into it. Yeah, early done, win, dub, away win, multiple goals, multiple debuts. We're going to get into all of that today. So let's use Sofascore as we usually do for some reference here. Momentum, guys. Oh, the blue meter here on the left-hand side, the blue part of the graph, or whatever you call it, represents Chelsea's momentum in this game. It was massive, even in the second half when we made a lot of changes. It was similar. Goals scored by Mark Yu in the 14th minute. We thought he got another one in the 18th minute. It looks like an own goal here. The coverage I was looking at said he got the goal, but apparently it's being listed as an own goal here. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, sadly, it looks like it's going to be an own goal, even though Gu kind of celebrated. I was hoping we would get the Gu hat trick so I could be like, Spanish heat in frozen temperatures. But it was an own goal, forced by, I think, probably Pedro Neto. But we're going to have a look at that in just a moment. Let's have a look at the lineups here. They played a 5-4-1, unsurprisingly. We played, apparently Sofascore is saying a 3-3-1-3, which is a very interesting formation indeed. Really, it was Renato Vega sort of inverting into the midfield. We'll look at the heat maps, actually. So, look, this was a back three, wasn't it? Josh Achiampong, or Achiampong, I don't know if it's a ch or a k. I'll have to get that pronunciation right. Playing as what looks like a conventional right back there, getting forwards a lot. Of course, he's like a right centre back, right-sided defender, essentially very, very good player that hopefully is going to sign a new deal. Of course, we've been covering that. Tosin very much playing the middle centre back, as you can see there on his heat map, and Disasi playing the left centre back. I think Renato Vega, yeah, kind of a left midfielder, to be honest. Maybe inverting into midfield a little bit by the left midfielder. Raksaki getting the start, very much central midfielder there, as you can see, seeing a lot of the play. And I think Dewsbury Hall had a free roll-ish. It kind of looks like it here. He was going into that right pocket, but sporadic sort of touches, kind of all over the pitch as a free roll. Carney in front of him, maybe a little bit more of the left pocket, and a little bit more advanced than Dewsbury Hall. I suppose less defensive responsibility because he had the likes of Raksaki behind him and Dewsbury Hall. Tyreek George, conventional left winger. Pedro Neto, conventional right winger. And of course, the pressing maniac that is Mark Gu up top. We saw changes, of course. Keanu Dyer came on very, very late, midfielder to make his debut. Harvey Vale has played for Chelsea before, but these are debuts, I believe. Definitely, I think Keanu Dyer's debut, Shim Mweka debut, Atto Ampar debut, Let's have a look here. Joshua Champong has come on. Tyreek George has come on before, I think. But these are all really talented academy players, man. I do want to talk about player performances and who we thought was impressive out of the kids a little bit later. Let's look at the match stats, because we were obviously dominant, as you can see here. Possession 69% away from home. Across the whole game, only 1.19 xg, so not that great, but 5 big chances and 3 goals scored. 23 shots to 6 shots. Now that transition page, that 23 shots shows you a lot of young players just shooting on goal. They all want a goal, don't they? It was probably not a lot of high value chances, or they were just trying to get it on target and often hitting the goalkeeper. But it's the way it goes, man. The goalkeeper did make 9 saves. A lot of them were rather easy, though. So let's talk about it then. The timeline, as you can see here on the left-hand side of the page. Pedro Neto assisting Mark Gu early doors in the 14th minute. I think that assist is very, very generous. It was a great goal from Mark Gu. It was a solo striker goal. He goes down the right flank, dribbles, lashes it near post. It's a really good solo goal. He starts deep, he progresses up, he takes the player out, he goes wide the player, goes inside. It's a good solo goal. We know he presses really hard, like frantically. We know he's quite hard. He's like robust, Mark Gu. He's not very, for being a La Masia Barcelona striker, he's quite a throwback in terms of being this tanking centre forward. And that was that kind of goal. And it was a great goal. It was the highlight of all goals for the 3 by far, and it was something to get excited about, I think. Of course, we saw the own goal in the 18th minute. It did look like it came off Gu, kind of, but maybe not, I guess. And then we wrapped up the game. I guess it was a corner. Rennie Vega assists Dewsbury Hall. We are going to talk about player performances, by the way. I do want to talk about Dewsbury Hall, another man. And Renato Vega frees an effing bird in the box, like just in front of his man. It was way too easy for him, but he had the time to execute what was an excellent headed finish. Head it into the ground, always works. Good goal. Now, this geezer, Tomasov, excellent goal. Perhaps not the best defending from the Chelsea boys, but he lashed it and it was post and in, which means you can't reflect any negativity from our goalkeeper, Jorgensen. Sofascore gave Renato Vega man of the match. We saw changes, of course. Amper came on, Harvey Vale came on. We'll talk all about this. Shimaweka and Dyer. So we want to talk about player performances, really, including the youngsters. Jorgensen, fine in goal. A few saves, didn't have much to do. Of course, he's got a relationship with Disassi and Tosin in front of him. And, you can't call him out on the goal at all, can you? It's just absolutely not his fault. Tosin was fine. Disassi was fine. Like, really, they were. Disassi did a bit of footwork as well. Like, they are above this level. They were fine. So Joshua Champong, of course, looks like he's being reintegrated back into Chelsea. I'm hoping we are finding a way to get this kid back in. He made an interception, 4 tackles. He wants the majority of his, 2/3 of his ground duels, which is strong. Especially considering this guy is a kid. 94% passing accuracy, a key pass from right back, 4 out of 6 long balls, 2 out of 2 dribble attempts. He's a very, very good footballer. Trust me. And again, I'm by no means any form of academy expert. When you talk about someone a lot, you look at their sort of highlights and listen to people that know more than you do, and then you learn. Rexaki in midfield is pretty good. He looked like a sensible operator. Not the biggest in stature, but he was very sensible on the ball. Didn't do anything silly. 100 touches, 99% passing accuracy, and a key pass. Again, opposition, but again won the majority of his ground duels. 1 out of 1 aerial duels. Only lost possession 3 times. Very strong performance in the midfield. Now, Gu, again, positive. Even if he didn't get the second goal, it was kind of, if he wasn't there, do you know what I mean? It probably doesn't happen because of that player trying to stop Gu. I thought Tyreek George was friggin' excellent, actually. He's obviously been utilised in the first team and come on in certain games, but he looks like he's desperate for that goal. But Tyreek George is a player that can play on both sides. He looks, unlike the other youngsters, that he's just believes he's not being, maybe conviction in his execution of his shots, but it's probably just waiting for that goal. But everything else, like he's not rushing it. The way he takes on his man, he's good. He's like both wings, man. He's really, really good. Let's have a look at his stats here. He had expected assists 0.85, so that's good. That's not his fault that wasn't converted. 0.3 expected goals himself. That's pretty strong. 2 out of 3 dribbles is fine. He did miss a big chance, but 91% pass accuracy for 2 key passes. Good, creative. Long ball, 1 out of 1, only 1 out of 3 crosses, that's totally fine. 50% of his ground duels, kind of fine for a winger. I think more than anything, Tyreek George just passes the eye test. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the other youngsters that came on, I was a little bit disappointed in Ampar, because apparently he's very, very talented, but he just looked a little bit like his decision making wasn't great. 69% passing accuracy, 0 out of 2 crosses. Did make a key pass. By all accounts, he's a very good player. Just didn't get the opportunity to demonstrate it. And he had a whole half, Ampar. But again, young player will take time. Harvey Vale's a very interesting one. Of course, Chelsea tried to flog him to Saudi Arabia. He didn't want to go. Had a very, very, well, I assume he does still have a very high ceiling. He replaced Carney Chukwuemeka. I will speak about him in just a moment. Keanu Diamond will be very, very good as well. Shim Mweka, so he is a striker, centre forward, scores a lot of goals. I think it's pronounced Mweka. Excuse me if it's not. But Shim, as they call him, is a very, very exciting striker with a big future. And for him just to get his Chelsea debut at such a young age, I think he's only recently turned 17. So they know about him being good. They've taken him. They've trusted him. This game wasn't sewn up. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like 7-1 and they gave him stoppage time. They brought on these kids. People will be a little bit disappointed that Richard Elise didn't come on. Of course, younger brother of Michael, now of Bayern Munich. But we saw still a lot of the kids come on. So in terms of like B team players, again, Toten's fine. I think Josh Jampong should be a B team player. Now Dewsbury Hall and Chukwuemeka. Now they've got good ratings here. I think Vega was good. Vega was fine. Of course, he got a goal. Strong. He made 3 key passes for a defensive player is really good. Majority of his long balls. Not great dribbling, not great ground duels, which doesn't sound like him, but really good in the air. And again, he was man of the match here in Sofascore. But we know Vega's good. Vega's trending in the right direction. He's still got some issues, but there's plenty of time to sort those out. In terms of like the other 2 players that we know about, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, he got an assist from a corner. He did make 4 key passes, which is really good. But he frustrated me. He was almost better when he was playing deeper. I think he was just tasked to do so much because Maresca trusts him. He knows the system, or Maresca's ideas at least. The system might have been a bit different. But he did frustrate me in the first half. And maybe I'm being harsh, but losing possession 14 times in a game like this is pretty wild. 1 out of 4 crosses. 4 key passes. The truth is that's an elite creative thing. I saw him. I felt like there was an air of maybe I'm being unfair because maybe there's this like frantic air to Keenan Dewsbury Hall where he felt like he needed to be doing everything because he was like the £30 million player on the pitch and he needs to run the game. He needs to make sure it's defensively organised. He needs to play make, and he did frustrate me a lot. And a lot of you guys in my halftime Instagram stream at Football Yannick, if you want to follow me on Instagram, were expressing concern for Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I kind of felt it as well. Carney Chukwuemeka, his rating here isn't awful. Again, he hasn't played much football, but I felt like he had an opportunity here to show what he was all about, and he didn't necessarily take it. Lost possession 14 times, 50% of his ground duels. He's a strong player. I'd expect him to do a little bit better, even as an attacker. I just feel like Carney is the kind of player that can really affect these games, and he didn't necessarily take his chance as well as he should. But, ultimately, what did we get here? What have we learned? Well, Carney got to start. Dewsbury Hall got to be this sort of senior figure, do you know what I mean? We got Raksaki as a start, it's pretty strong. Tyreek George, for me, out of all the youngsters, Tyreek George looks like he's good to go. personally. Like, that's my opinion. If he gets that goal, if he gets like a, assists and goals and gets just that off his back and relaxes a little bit, in terms of how his application is on the pitch, he looks great. Well, him and Achampong, you'd say, were the other two. But big futures for Dyer, Shimweka, and stuff like that. So, yeah, pretty good, really. What else can you say, guys? Top of the pops, feeling good, and yeah, it's really like all you can ask for. An away win by over 1 goal, lots of debuts, top of the league in the Conference League, and yeah, pretty good. So let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thanks as always for joining me. I've got my new glasses on today, by the way. Cost me a lot of money. Hopefully you guys like them. part of the look now, part of the aesthetic. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you back here soon. Or tomorrow, every ruddy day. Take care. Peace.